Good morning. My name is Brian Ayers, and I'm going to spend some time today talking about the issue of pay equity, how to assess your workforce, and how to make sure that you're following the law. Equal pay for equal work is the law of the land, and yet it's pretty common to hear the statistic that women make an average of 80 cents for every dollar earned by a man in this country. There are similar statistics for minorities, with African American and Hispanic men earning less than 75 cents for every dollar earned by white men, and African American and Hispanic women earning significantly less than that. What we're going to look at today is how to determine if this is the case at your organization, and how to fix the situation and follow the law if you do have a problem with pay equity. The first thing to consider is what really constitutes equal work. You're not going to want to compare your entire workforce to each other, because you have a pretty wide spread in things like your education and experience requirements when you're comparing an executive to an entry-level position. Federal law is going to allow you to pay different rates for legitimate factors like skill level, education, and experience, and so it makes sense to draw your comparisons between workers who are subject to similar skill level, education, and experience requirements. You're ultimately looking to compare workers who have similar job duties, who are subject to similar qualifications, and who work in similar work environments, because at that point you really are comparing what the law would consider to be basically equal work. Once you've organized your workforce, you want to then get all their pay data. You need the base pay, of course, but also any bonuses, any incentive pay, shift premiums, and really any other items that are impacting the paycheck. You then will want to run a statistical analysis that will both identify any discrepancies in pay by race or gender, but which also identifies which discrepancies are large enough to be considered statistically significant. Some discrepancies are going to be small enough that they amount to random statistical variance. And there's going to be some that are large enough that they likely signify there is an underlying problem. And so you need some sort of test or some sort of measurement that will let you tell these apart. Once you've found your discrepancies and you've determined which ones are statistically significant, you need to then investigate to see if there are any legal justifications for the gap. State laws are going to vary, but under federal law, things like education, experience, training, and output can legally justify a wage gap. If these elements are present, and they will account for the entire wage gap you have found, then there is a good chance that you are compliant with the law. If the gap cannot be explained by legal factors, or they explain some of the gap but not all of it, then you may have a pay equity problem, and you should consider making equity adjustments to eliminate the gaps, and then looking at your compensation structure as a whole. Because these are adjustments made on the basis of race or gender, we would recommend you speak with an attorney before implementing any equity adjustments to avoid running afoul of any discrimination laws. If you have questions about pay equity, or you are interested in having Employers Council conduct a pay equity analysis, please reach out to me. Our compensation team can also help you with reviewing and recommending changes to your compensation structure. We can be reached at 800-884-1328, or you can email me directly at bayers@employerscouncil.org. That's BAYERS@employerscouncil.org. Thank you.